Hey guys. Uh, so some of my followers know that I race motorcycles. I'm an avid motorcyclist. I have my racing channel, 388 Racing. I've been involved in motorcycling my entire life. But when the military collides with motorcycling, which collides with racing, um, somebody brought up a guy by the name of Max Rist. He's got a over 1 million subscribers on YouTube. Um, and it's weird. It's a weird situation because they wanted me to like look into his military records, and I'm like, well, there's no stolen valor involved here. He's owned the fact that he was court-martialed and spent a couple of years, I think 18 months in Leavenworth. And we'll talk a little bit about all of this. And he has progressed from being a street squid. I mean, we were all street squids at one time. Um, well, some of us. I mean, I used to ride kind of crazy on the roads, ride fast, and take chances, that kind of stuff. But now he's into road racing, and he's doing pretty well. Um, he may lead you to believe he's doing better than he is, but he did really well in his first full amateur year and bumped up to expert, and good on him. You know, I'm not taking anything away from that, but there's a progression here from his military service to his motorcycling channel to his racing, and people are still, let's face it, they're going to bring up the fact that he spent time in jail, and uh, you know, what are my feelings on it? I don't know. But when we talk about his military career, this transpired in 2017 was when he was court-martialed. He was stationed in Vincennes, Italy. I don't know. I don't even know what his MOS is. Um, but he was stationed over there, and he had a sport bike, and the locals and everybody, they were complaining about the way he was riding fast in the mountain. He's probably doing nothing different than what the locals are, but because he's a member of the U.S. military, there you go. So I found an article that somebody wrote bitching about it. Oh, no, that's not it. Let's see. Now I got to add it to here. Let's see if we can get to it. They called him a road hog. Uh, Eugene Edward McMail. I hope I'm saying his name correctly. What's been done to prevent a car accident? So I guess let's face it, Europe's got lots of curvy roads, and this was dated October 16th, 2016. Within a year, he was going through a court martial and then sent to Fort Leavenworth. But this is his downfall. Now, he was an E7, Sergeant First Class. That is a rank that your records go to a review board at Department of the Army, and they decide whether you meet the standards to become a Sergeant First Class. So he's, at this time, he's 33 years old. He's probably got, I don't know, 12, 13, 14 years, maybe right around there as an E7. I don't know what his MOS is. That's still pretty good to make E7 in that short a period of time. Probably making a career out of the military, but then this whole thing kind of snowballed on him. and he was charged with sexual abuse, child abuse, sodomy, a bunch of other stuff. Here's his court-martial information. And it was Article 120, 4 counts, Article 82 counts, Article 125, 3 counts, Article 128, 8 counts, Article 107, Article 134, the catch-all, 9 counts, Article 111, and Article 90. And he talks about that. He actually addresses some of that. He's been accused of being a PDF and on the registry, which I could find no evidence of him being on the registry. And I'll be truthful, I haven't requested the court-martial transcripts. I don't care. If the best course of action for him to put all of this to sleep would be to just get a copy of his court-martial transcripts and, post the pertinent shit where he's being accused of stuff. It's just it's a whole weird thing that's going on. Let's take a look at his take a look at, I got an image file here. All right, Social Blade. Here's his Social Blade. He started his channel September of 2015. And then October, people were bitching about him because he was posting the videos. He's on active duty, military, riding a motorcycle in Europe. And also, guys, look at the yearly estimated earnings. And he gets shitloads of views. He gets lots of views. It's, 2.7 thousand to 44K for the year. Not going to make a living off of YouTube. So he's got 1.1 million subscribers, 250 million views with 1,086 videos. So I'm going to move this over here so I can go over here. Let's go to his YouTube channel. And, did I even want to do this? Not really. Really didn't even want to do this video. But a lot of people have reached out. Oh, you need to get his records, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, it's not stolen valor, guys. Chill the fuck out. But I'm going to do a video on it anyway because it's just, he threw away his career by poor decisions while he was stationed in Italy as an E7. Right, wrong, or indifferent. People fuck up their careers. And I've seen it happen numerous times. Threw away a good retirement. He probably would have made E8 if he had been on the straight and narrow and doing his job, and probably would have made a career of it. But all right, let's take a look at his. Let's take a look at his. Why is this not popping up? All right, we're gonna bring up man, I suck at this. I'm sorry, guys, but let's take a look at his YouTube channel. Here it is. Max Wrist, 1.1 million subscribers. Now, you can join his channel. I'm sure he makes money off of that. I don't know if he has a job. I don't know what he does for work. Here's some of his videos for you. He got black flagged. He had a problem with his Ducati, was cutting out on him. And yeah, it's pretty dangerous to be out on the track with a bike and you have no idea why it's just cutting out on you. So you can't race. I mean, he's a YouTuber. You can't race anymore. He could still race, but he has to get the bike diagnosed. It's not like they pulled his license. That's like Pro Start. He's a club racer and got his expert plate, and that was his first start as an expert. A pro racer, when I see pro racer, I think Moto America or something like that, but he is a pretty good racer. I've watched some of his race videos. It doesn't seem like a bad guy either. But like I said, the charges against him, let's see, let's go down here. Because he talks about it. And he's got haters, let's face it. You're going to have haters. When you got a big channel, you're going to have haters. This guy here, he his either girlfriend or wife or fiance or whatever confronted this douchebag at the racetrack. Guys, really? Yeah, he's got some pretty good race content. And he was really big into oh, here we go. Registered sex offender. He talks about this. So let me see if I can, I'm going to play this video.
You might have seen stuff like this posted about me on the internet. In this video, I'm going to address every crime that I was convicted.
Andrew Gower. I know Andrew. I know the name. I don't know him personally, but so they're talking about it. And he lists out, I guess Andrew listed out all of the articles. To know the specifics of what he was charged with, you would have to get the transcripts from the court martial. Because these are very broad descriptions of what are covered under the UCMJ articles. So you have that, but let's continue on.
Convicted of and break them down for you one by one. Most of what you read about me on the internet is false, like that I'm a sex offender. But these rumors have been spread by influencers who don't have as much success as I've had on YouTube. They are mad and they keep spreading these lies.
Motorbike influencer guy.
It wasn't the pedo, was it?
The what?
The pedo. Pederass.
I don't know.
Max wrist.
Let's go ahead and jump into the first fact. I am not a registered sex offender. Here we.
Okay, and he looks in the databases. So, do military people who are charged with sexual offenses have to register for the sex offender registry? Yes, they do. His charges evidently did not rise to that. Usually, and I don't know what all the requirements are. I guess we could always ask Jeremy DeWitt, because he's a registered sex offender. But anyway, let's continue.
Look up my name on several databases and you can see that I'm not registered on any of these databases. If you are a convicted sex offender, you are required to be registered on these lists. It's not your choice. As you can see when we type in.
He is 100% correct on that. If you are a registered sex offender, you will be on those sites, and it's not a choice. As you see, Jeremy went to jail because he failed to do shit that he was supposed to.
my real name, I am not registered anywhere. This is California's
His
list.
name and
Next, we
information's
go
out
into
there,
the
so I'm
national
not-
database,
no
which
doxing.
covers the entire
This is
country.
fair
As you
use.
can see, after typing in my name, I'm not registered on any of these lists either. So when people say I'm a registered sex offender, it is a complete lie. So now let's go over a list of the crimes I was actually convicted of. Keep in mind that this was a plea deal, not convictions by a jury of peers. The military court-martial system has a 96%
96% conviction. Yeah, they do. Because they won't go to a court martial without everything they need to prove without a reasonable doubt. So he pled out. He went from E7 to E1, loss of all pay, and let's see, forfeiture of all pay and allowances, and confined for 720 days. He got out with like 18 months. He got out a little bit early for good behavior. But this all took place in Vilseck, Germany. Oh, no, that's something else. That's another one. His was in Vincennes, Italy. Sergeant First Class Eugene McMahon. All right. Well, he was convicted. And you can look this up. Like I said, I showed you a screenshot from looking up the court-martial information. Is it a big deal? No, not a big deal. The information's out there. And when I say not a big deal, it's not a big deal to be able to find this stuff. It is a big deal for a sergeant first class to go this far off the tracks. Yeah, lots of charges. He talks about the sodomy charge, and I'll wait till we get to it. Or not sodomy, but adultery.
conviction rate. So let's break down these convictions one by one. This is the article of the UCMJ that seems to create the most confusion. Here is how the Uniform Code of Military Justice defines Article 125. The key thing to note about this crime is the for the purpose of receiving a thing of value part. I was paid money for receiving oral sex from a consenting adult.
He received money for receiving oral sex from a consenting adult. So tell me you get a BJ by a dude without telling me you get a BJ by a dude. Because he says consenting adult. I don't know, ladies, tell me. Are you willing to pay some dude to give him a BJ? I don't think women really, I don't know. Maybe they do enjoy it. I don't know. I don't know how that all works. But sodomy, the Article 125, for a thing of value, which was Mooney. So he was getting BJs for money. Good on you, bro. Nothing like getting paid to get a BJ. But from the same sex,
While a crime in the military, this crime doesn't hold a lot of weight in the real world. That is part of the reason I was only sentenced to 720 days in prison for 16.
Yes, it does. It's called prostitution in the real world. It does hold a value. There is a charge for it. It's called prostitution. You're getting paid to have some type of sex. Doesn't matter what it is, and you're receiving it, it's still prostitution. They called it sodomy. The military did. That's one of the articles of UCMJ.
Felony counts. I've read comments like this that say I should have got way more time. This guy said the military took pity on me. This couldn't be further from.
Military doesn't take pity on anybody. If it goes to a general court martial or a special court martial, they're coming out guns blazing. So, and they've got a 96% conviction rate. Just so you know.
From the truth. My first cellmate at Fort Leavenworth got 10 years for sexually assaulting his wife of 20 years. And my next cellmate got 5 years for a bar fight. The military does not give light sentences. Here is an email from my attorney.
Okay, so for the bar fight, he was probably offered a field grade Article 15 and instead decided to go court martial. Nope, I'm not accepting non-judicial punishment. I want a court martial. When you do that, usually the outcome is not going to be very good.
Attorney to my mom explaining my sentencing after the conviction. I have never and would never hurt a child. These instances were playing. She fabricated stories of malice even though she tried to leave her children just to come to Italy and live with me. Remember.
Okay, so like I said, I don't know the whole backstory on this. I would have to read the transcripts from the court martial. Am I going to waste my time with a FOIA request to get redacted transcripts? I don't care. I'm only doing this because I've had a few of you reach out to me, and I said, why not? I'll do something.
Remember, if any of these crimes happened, the cops would have been called immediately. It was over a year later that she made these accusations of assault. But it wasn't until after I got stationed in Italy and met another woman that she said all of these things happened. Again,
jilted wife, girlfriend, whatever. You got this side of the story, you got this side of the story, and somewhere in the middle is the truth, and we'll never know that. We don't even know the other side of the story. We know his side of the story. Convicted felon. We know his side of the story. We don't know the other side of the story. We don't see the transcripts. We don't see what was presented in court. So you have to take it with a grain of salt. But he did his time. He paid his debt. But people just keep attacking him on this shit.
Again, I did less than 2 years in prison for all 16 charges. As you read in the email, most of the time was served for disobeying a commissioned officer about.
So most likely this, they threw this stuff on there after the fact. Because they will throw a bunch of charges on there that they think they can do. Most likely his commander told him, do not ride that motorcycle and out there like a nut anymore, and videotape it. You're creating an international incident if anything were to happen by riding your motorcycle, as he says. I was just riding my motorcycle fast. Everybody else is doing it. Well, doesn't make it right. You are a representative of the United States serving overseas in a foreign country. I had a motorcycle in Germany. I didn't ride it like a crazy person. Or I didn't ride it fast. Well, back when I was over in Germany in the late 80s, the Ninja had just come out and stuff like that. But I had a Nighthawk 650, I think. You have to represent the U.S. while you're there. Recklessly operating a vehicle. He had it was posted on YouTube.
About riding my motorcycle. 3 specifications of adultery, which is a law that only the military enforces. 1 specification.
I agree to that. And the reason they hit you with the adultery charges is because it's just an add-on charge. They had everything they needed for the rest of it. They're going to throw every charge they could throw at you that they think will stick when they go to a court martial. Adultery is on the books in the Uniform Code of Military Justice. Do people screw around on their spouses? They absolutely do. Is that adultery? It absolutely is. Do civilian police officers enforce it? No, we do not. And a lot of states still have adultery on the books. It's not something that's enforced. And deleting an email, obstructing justice, evidently there was some email, whatever.
of obstructing justice for deleting an email. I would never hurt a woman either. I pleaded to pushing her, but what really happened was that I had paperwork she wanted. She came after me for it. I pushed back to defend myself. I also pleaded to throwing an empty Coke can at her. So when you add them all together, this is 16 felony counts that I ended up doing 18 months in prison for. While I don't condone any of the actions I pleaded to, I did use women.
So, like I said, you've got this side of the story, this side of the story. Somewhere in the middle is the truth. People continue to spread this lie, but I just wanted to set the record straight. All right. Dude, if you had the transcripts, and you can get them, do a search on it. Max, go ahead and get your transcripts and do a big long video on it and go over the transcripts and put it to bed. Put it to bed with the documentation and the receipts. Yeah, not going to find you. And good on you, bro. He spent a lot of time riding Tail of the Dragon, and he was accused of baiting people into riding over their heads so he could videotape them crashing to get views. You just saw he's got over 1 million subscribers. He doesn't make a whole lot of money on YouTube. I'm guessing most of his income comes from being a member of his YouTube channel. People who support you, I don't know what supporting you is. I do watch some of your videos only because I know some of the guys you race with, or I know some of the experts. I do know some of the experts out there you will be racing with. So, not everybody puts cameras on their bikes and videotapes their racing. I do, you do. I got a very small channel and I don't care. I only do it for my own enjoyment and for people who watch my MSG Retired channel, another small channel that go over and watch my racing. Again, a few people reached out, said, hey, look into this guy. It's not stolen valor, but it is where the military and the motorcycles and the racing and it all collided. And it's about what he's doing now. Paid his debt to society, did his time in jail. Again, we don't know the whole story, but people just keep attacking him. And if you do a search for him, you'll see all the attacks claiming he's a pedo and all this other stuff, PDF, whatever. Guys, knock it off. There's no evidence of it. So unless somebody wants to go out and FOIA request those transcripts and it's in the transcripts, well, that'll be a different story. Because I don't have any use for any PDFs at all, none whatsoever. All right, we'll continue
for
on.
Money in the past, which is not a crime, but it is very wrong. All of the sexual convictions were with consenting adults, and that is the reason I am not a registered sex offender. People continue to spread this lie, but I just wanted to set the record straight. Anything you read on Reddit or elsewhere that I did not state in this video is false. You can look on any registries you want. You will not find my name listed. I have even taken my motorcycle riding off the street and strictly ride on the track now.
And good for you, bro. That's probably the best thing you did. And with your skill set, you probably should have done it earlier. I mean, you're early 40s now. Is there a chance you might get into a Moto America race? Maybe. Depends on how your expert season goes. Let's see how that goes first. If you're running right up there up front, you got to accumulate those points to get that Moto America license. Good on you. I hope you do. Other than that, go out, have fun, race, and, do what you do.
I appreciate all the people who still support me. Thank you.
You're welcome. I don't subscribe. I guess I'm not a supporter. but I'm not a hater either. He's got some good content. Let's see, Dead Last. I mean, he's not above, showing stuff. Season end that you won't forget. ERA round 6.
Going to be forces to be reckoned with. So Corey's going to have to do work to get away from these guys, but these guys are going to be trying to learn from Corey. Oh, Dimitro! Oh, Dimitro has a false neutral, I think. What happened? Just let Max by him in turn 1. Looks like he's got a mechanical. Looks like he's slowing down.
Corey Soros. That was scary.
What's up?
That was
Red flag.
Neutral. No.
And he's got some good editing. So anyway. Anyway, I almost forgot I was doing this. Anyway, guys. So there you go. Sergeant first class to private. And I don't know what his military records are. I don't know what his MOS is. I don't know how many deployments he had during that time frame. I'm sure his early years in the military, he's probably got a deployment or two. I don't know. Vincennes, that's usually home to the airborne in Europe. I don't know if he's airborne. I don't know if he's infantry. I don't know what he is. Don't know what his military records are. I'm not going to request him. It's easy enough to get his date of birth to be able to, request records from NPRC. I don't care. But I did want to just show where the military collides with motorcycling, which collides with racing. I got a lot of veteran friends. I got a lot of guys that run active duty back when I was racing in the 90s that raced. Right there at Roebling Road, we had Hunter Army Airfield in Fort Stewart, Georgia. We had a submarine base not far. We had a Marine base not far. I had Marines, Navy, Army, all active duty racing at Roebling Road with WERA or CCS or ARMA. It just kind of goes with our lifestyle, that adrenaline junkie lifestyle. Have I ridden like a wild man on the street? Yup. Have I been to Tail of the Dragon? Yup. Have I videotaped Tail of the Dragon? I did on my bagger, so it's not real fast, but I was still riding faster than I should have been. I've been up on there in the late 90s, early 2000s on my BMW K-bike, on my ZRX 1200. Used to go up there with friends, and we would raise hell. I'm not going to lie. Everybody does. Luckily, we didn't have the action cameras back then. Otherwise, who knows? So anyway, that's the whole military motorcycle racing collision with Max Wrist. Hopefully this suffices for what you guys wanted me to do. There was only maybe 5 or 6 people that had asked about it. What do you think of this guy? He's a pretty good rider. He's got some skills. Got a jaded past. He did his time. I hate to see somebody throw away a military career over domestic type issues, which is what all of this would have been. The sodomy thing, the prostitution. I guess is what you'd call it, you know. How many guys out there? I'm not going to go there. I'm not going to, but getting paid for a BJ. Yeah. Not going to go there. Like I said, you got this side of the story, and somewhere in the middle, they shall meet. Anyway, hope you guys enjoyed the video. Make sure you subscribe, hit the like, all that good shit, and have yourself a great day.